What's going on? I hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today we're going to talk about an article that I just read, literally listing the 10 college majors that people regret the most. We know that college is kind of a big waste of money for some people, not for everybody, but for some people it is. And, you guys know I've taught at a lot of different universities, and so I want to kind of give some insights into this list. So we're going to break this down. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, under one condition. The condition is that we are Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means that we believe in economic intelligence. Black first means that we educate our kids. Black first means we plan for the future. If you agree with this philosophy, if you believe that's a good direction for our community, put a B1 in the chat. Hashtag B1. B1, Black first. We want B1 to be successful, all that stuff. And go ahead and put the city that you're from in the chat. I always like to see what city you guys are from. And hit the thumbs up button. Hey, my name is Corey. How you doing? Black Dart Dating King, Terrence Holly, John C. Taylor, Darlene Green. What's going on in Instagram world? My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. That shirt is fresh, doctor. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, so let me go ahead and just dive into this. How many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of you went to college? How many college graduates we got in the building? How many of y'all, D. Fernando from Louisville, Kentucky, and Naima Muhammad from New York City, and Faye from Indianapolis? How many of y'all went to college? How many of y'all graduated, went to college, and actually walked across the stage and got you a degree? I want to just give you a shout out, recognize you up in the chat. Give me a yes. All the college grads in the building, everybody who has a college degree or beyond, raise your hand. I applaud you. Congratulations to you. We are not here on any level trying to shame what you accomplished. I mean, I'm a college graduate. I taught at Syracuse University, Indiana University, the Ohio State University, University of Kentucky. I taught college students in China and Europe. My wife taught in Guyana, and I was there with her for that too. So I agree that college is cool. College is a great place to go. College is a great place to learn a lot of stuff. But we know that maybe if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that there are some problems with college too. And also, I want to give a shout out. How many of you went to college for a little while? How many of y'all went there maybe a year or two, and then something happened? Usually it's you needed money, so you dropped out just for a little while. Next thing you know, you're 40 years old and you can't go back. How many of you dropped out? How many of you maybe got pregnant, had a baby? You know, it's okay. It's all right. These things happen. Because I've been teaching at the college level for so long, I've seen everything. I've seen all the stories, and I get it. Things happen. Life happens. And I think understanding life, being a student of life, really helps you to have a happy life. So I would encourage you, if you want to understand life better, listen to people's stories, watch the things around you, think about cause and effect, and that'll kind of help you get where you want to get to. Okay, so I get it. Things happen. That's life. It is what it is. Now, let's talk about this. I read this article today in CNBC, and this may help some of you, either if you are thinking about going to school, if you went to school and you're trying to process what the hell happened to you, how you ended up with more debt than opportunities. So some of y'all ended up in that category. Also, it may help you if you're going to have kids. If you have kids that are going to go to college, you may want to share this information with them so that they can make the right decision. I want to make this clear. College is not a good investment. College is not a good investment. I also want to say this, and it's going to confuse you. College is not a bad investment. College is not a bad investment either. The answer to whether or not college is a good investment or bad investment is it depends. It depends. Okay. So if anybody ever runs up to you and says, yeah, Dr. Boyce, he had a PhD and he's telling people not to go to college, just say, no, that's not true. That's not true. Because people, you're a black man. People are going to always mischaracterize, paraphrase, deliberately misconstrue everything you said. Like when I tell black people to make their own choice at the ballot box, there are literally Negroes running around saying, Dr. Boyce is telling black people not to vote. I never told black people not to vote. I said, vote for who works for you. I said, be free. And I understand why people are threatened by black freedom. They don't want you to be free. They're not used to that. They're not used to you making choices that work for you. They're used to you making choices that work for them. I'm saying make choices that work for you. So in the case of college, here's what I will tell you as a person who knows a lot about college campuses, and I've been on them for a long time. College is something that can either make your life better or it can make your life worse. College is a little bit like starting a business. How many of y'all know somebody who started a business and the business never made any money? or the business caused more problems than it was worth? Give me a yes or no. If you've seen it, or you've experienced it, or you've seen somebody start a business and the business just went belly up, or they end up with tax problems, or they end up going broke, or they end up spending so much money that they regretted it. How many of you have ever gone through that? Give me a yes or no, or seen that up close. Exactly. But does that mean that starting a business is a bad idea? Does that mean that you should never start a business? Does that mean that only a sucker would start a business? You crazy if you start a business. See, that would be stupid. That would be silly. That will be silly. So what I want to encourage you to do is understand the nuances. Everything can be good or bad depending on how it's used. Everything, love, relationships. There's some people who say, I love being in love. I love being married. Marriage and love is wonderful because I met the right person and now my life is better. But then you got some people who are like, that old raggedy blankety blank took all my money and I found her in bed with my best friend, and you can't trust these women. You can't trust these women. Because you see guys like that, like these women these black women, they're crazy. These black women. I'm like, no, black women aren't crazy. Maybe you just picked the wrong one. There's some non-crazy black women out there, but there's some crazy ones too. I try to avoid the crazy. That was always my goal. So the same thing is true when it comes to going to college. It can be good for you if you keep the cost at a reasonable level and you get what you came for. If you get something that is worth more than what you put in, then that's cool. But if you got $200,000 in debt and you trade it for a job that's paying you $40,000 a year, you'd have a harder time explaining why that was a good investment. That's like going out and starting a business. You start a bakery that's going to make you $5,000 a month, but you borrow $8 million to start that bakery. Well, it's not that bakery businesses are bad. It's that you started the wrong business. You put too much into the bakery. Right. So that's the point I want to make as we get into that. Now I'm going to read this list to you. Before I do that, could you do me a quick favor? Please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. We believe in Black intelligence, and I really need your help in spreading important messages to our community. So if you could do that, subscribe. And if you've already subscribed, please hit the notification bell and put a B1 in the chat to let me know that you did it. I have to intentionally ask you to do that because it's really important to help us to grow this platform. If you could please do that for me, I'd appreciate that very much. All right, so let me hop in and read this list to you. This is on CNBC, and they start the article by saying, between the sky-high cost and student loan burden, more students are taking closer looks at college's return on investment. When it comes to value, what you study may be the most important factor. No duh. Graduates entering the workforce with good career prospects and high starting salaries are the most satisfied with their major, according to ZipRecruiter. Wow, can you imagine that? People that actually have opportunities and are making money are happier about their degree than people who are flat broke and have no opportunities. That's kind of common sense. And this is important to really process because a lot of us were raised to believe that just going to college and just getting that degree, no matter what you major in, was going to make your life better. And that's just simply not true. You cannot allow yourself to believe that simply going to college is going to improve your life, or that an employer is going to hire you just because you have a piece of paper. I've hired a ton of people in my life. Never once have I hired somebody because they had a piece of paper. I don't even ask them if they got the paper. I don't care if you got a damn paper. I need to know, can you do the job? Can you help our company achieve its goals? Do you have a skill? We have a severe shortage of Black people that actually have real damn skill. Seriously. I would work with a carpenter or a plumber that never went to college before I work with somebody who's got a 4-year degree who spent 4 years at step shows. I mean, no disrespect. Step shows are cool. I watched them on the internet. Right. And I didn't watch a lot in college because I was actually like in the library and stuff. I mean, I know makes me a little weirdo, but that's kind of what I wanted to be. But when I got older and I got some money, I started going back and saying, I wonder, let me watch some of these step shows I missed while I was in college. Oh, those are pretty good. And I really always thought it was really funny. I'm going to tell you the truth. I always thought it was crazy that I would have friends who would spend more energy prepping for a step show than they spent prepping for a math class. I'm not saying step shows are bad. Step shows are really the coolest thing ever. But I never understood that. Have you ever seen that? Where people were literally, they were practicing hard. They were practicing like they were, like they were the basketball team or something. Like they were out there every day for hours. And I'm like, wow, if you spent half that energy prepping for your math test, you would be a straight A student. I don't understand that. So maybe it's a matter of me kind of not really understanding the priorities of some of my friends. I mean, you probably had better friends than me. My friends were just stupid. They were knuckleheads. I knew a bunch of brothers that all the guys I grew up with became alcoholics and drug addicts and went to jail and stuff, babies, mamas, and all that. And then when I went to college, you know, all the other black men that I knew that I just happened to know just really weren't into anything that I wanted to be into. I didn't want to go and sleep with every single girl that walked by because I didn't want to catch diseases. I didn't want to go and drink every weekend because I didn't want to be an alcoholic. I actually wanted to be in the library because being in the library would make my life better. I didn't want to be at every party because I thought the parties were boring. So long story short, my wife is trying to feed me food. All right, she wants me to taste the steak. Let me see. Oh,
that's one of my best batches, I think.
Yeah, so good. I'm live right now. They can hear you talking about how good your food is. Let me tell you.
This is better than usual, I think.
Let me tell you, my wife is the best cook ever. So come on, baby. You distracted me.
Sorry.
It's and you get
when
out.
When you're done, we can eat if you're hungry.
Okay. You look too good. You're getting my attention.
Okay. Sorry.
Wow. Okay. So here's the list. Let me hop in and read the list. And forgive me for talking while I eat. It's not my fault. Y'all saw that I was assaulted by a piece of steak. And who happened to be bringing food into the room because she is a piece of steak. She's a sexy black woman right there. I'm telling you. All right. So anyway, let me get refocus. Focus, boys. Come on. All right. Okay. So here are the top 10 majors that lead to the most regret. These are the most regretted college majors. I guess they did a survey. And number one on the list is journalism. And journalism is interesting because I don't think real journalists exist anymore. I really don't. I think if you watch TV, has anybody watching media lately? There was a time where journalists had to be objective and thorough and all that. That's out the window. Now journalism has just become like, I don't know, like watching a rap music video or something, where they all thugging out and pretty much fighting for whatever political party is paying the bills. So journalism is the highest, most regretted major on college campuses because you don't make any money and you got to run around telling lies for the rest of your life. Shout out to the real journalists that are really holding it down, but y'all know what I'm talking about. When you watch Fox News and MSNBC, I know you probably want to vomit the way I do. Next is sociology. Sociology is interesting, right? Social work, you're actually working with real people and you're really helping them, whereas sociology is kind of a little bit more theoretical in my view. And it's related to sort of group thinking, group activity. Sociology is quite a fascinating topic. I love sociology, because it links to psychology. Those are really interesting things, right? There's a lot of sociological stuff happening around us in the world that makes it interesting. The question to ask yourself is, would you spend $200,000 getting a degree in sociology? Especially now that you have, the internet, you can go to YouTube University and learn everything you want to know about sociology, everything you want to know about social work, everything you want to know about almost everything. So I don't know if sociology is something that I would spend college degree money on. 72% of the respondents said they regret being sociology majors. Next is liberal arts and general studies. That's where I see a lot of black men get in trouble because they go to college and they play football and basketball, and then they always pick the easiest major and they'll give them like general studies. And my friend went to Vanderbilt. He said that you would have thought that we were all going into the military because all of us were majoring in general studies. So you would think that we were all training to become generals because all of us were majoring in general studies. Next is communications, which I think communications is pretty important though. And if you flip it right, see the key to a lot of this stuff in my view is, do you understand the basics of entrepreneurship? Like if you understand how to start a business, then you can flip that business into a scenario where it utilizes your best skill. So I would almost say that one remedy for a college degree that doesn't get you the job you want is to have entrepreneurial training so that you can think in a way that allows you to position yourself to create opportunities that allow you to do what you do best. That's my 2 cents. So none of these majors are wasteful. I mean, anybody ever seen like a good journalist like really doing their job? Like I'm talking about like a kick-ass New York Times journalist who really worked their way up, not somebody who just was given the job. They are thorough as hell. They are really good. That skill is transferable to almost anything. A thorough, hardworking, dedicated, determined person who who has an infinite ability to seek facts and information can do almost anything. I mean, because you're basically a researcher. That's what I am. That's what college professors do. We do research. And so ultimately, these are not bad topics to study. It's really whether or not the job market, if you go into the world and all you know how to do is fill out a job application, but you don't know nothing about, you don't have any assets or investments, you don't know much about that. You don't know how to start a business of your own. and you can't create your own opportunities, or you're not wired in, it can put you in a tough situation where the amount that you owe in your student loans cannot be repaid by the income that you're earning on your job. Next is education. And that makes me sad because I think education is one of the most important majors that there is. God bless all y'all teachers out here, especially the black ones who are out here holding it down for these kids. When I was on the phone with Kanye West, I was really subtly trying to persuade him to use all that money that he might have spent on the Kardashians to actually put that money into some of these black-owned independent schools that have black teachers that are dedicated to black children. I introduced him to Marcus Klein, who runs Freedom Home Academy International in Chicago. And my dream is that if Marcus Klein could get, a budget of $10 or $20 million a year, he could literally educate thousands of kids in Chicago instead of having them go to that horrible public school they have here. I'm not saying that every kid that comes out of Chicago public schools is a loser. I'm just saying these systems don't love your kids. These systems don't train your kids. These systems produce millions and millions of black kids every single year who can't read, write, or do math. That is a massive multi-trillion-dollar drain on black wealth. When you let other people educate the majority of your children, that is a major drain on black wealth. Why is that? How many of y'all know black kids? Pay attention. I need y'all to answer. How many of y'all know black kids in their early 20s or maybe late 20s who could have been great, who could have been amazing, who could have been extraordinary, who could have been under the right tutelage, under the right mentorship, with the right guidance, could have done anything, have the genius to do anything? See, some of these rappers, brilliant people, could have done anything, but can't do nothing because nobody ever trained them to do anything. They came out of high school, couldn't read, couldn't write, couldn't do math, couldn't do basic skills. So now can't even go and fix the roof or fix your toilet or have any of those skills. It makes me sad. Now I need y'all to pay attention to that when you're asking, when people are doing this sort of murder mystery and they're trying to figure out, what happened to all the black wealth? All the black wealth is going down. We don't know why black wealth is going down. It's such an enigma, so confusing. Well, the reason your wealth is going down is because you're letting white people educate your kids and they're fucking them up. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop cussing. I promise. I didn't mean to do that, but I'm serious. They're messing up your children. They're literally going inside your children's brains with a screwdriver, and they're literally sabotaging it like a car engine. The car could have drove 1,000 miles, but now the engine has been sabotaged. They poured sugar in the gas tank. A lot of your kids can't do nothing because ain't nobody taught them nothing. Well, why is that? Because we should be teaching our kids. We should be teaching our children. Do you understand how many trillions of dollars in wealth your community loses when they are mass producing children that don't want to grow up and be nothing but ignorant ass Negroes? That's all they know. They can't even work. They didn't got the discipline to hold down a job at McDonald's and can't even read the menu and can't calculate nothing. Got to look at pictures on the food. What does a Big Mac look like? Okay, that's a quarter pounder. Right? Can't do nothing. Those kids ain't stupid. Those kids are not stupid. Other people, let's talk about Jewish people, for example. I remember going to school every day, and I remember my Jewish friends getting off the bus after school, and then they went to Hebrew school. That's what they did. I remember. And I would be like, what are y'all learning in Hebrew school? They'd be like, we're learning all about our culture. We're learning what it means to be Jewish. So y'all can get mad at Jewish people. I mean, don't get me wrong. All these conspiracies and all that. I mean, I don't think it's a conspiracy to say that y'all own a whole lot of everything. I actually think that should be a badge of honor. I think that's actually kind of cool that you were able to figure that out. But I think at the end of the day, man, you need to start taking notes. That's how you protect your children, because your children are a massive, massive asset to your community. You can't give away all your wealth and then expect to have any wealth. You give away your children. That's the most valuable asset that you own. So I want to see. And I'm gonna openly say this because this is something that I admit. This is something I admit that I didn't, couldn't quite figure out how to help some of these rappers and stuff understand this. But when and it's not like they completely didn't get it. When I talked to Ye, he mentioned King Randall School down in Georgia, and I said, yeah, I wrote a check for that school, and you could write a bigger check. I hope you'll write a check. I don't think he wrote a check. I talked to Ice Cube and I said, let's buy some Powernomics books. Let's go 50-50. I'll buy 1,000, you buy 1,000, we'll give them away. Just kind of to support the idea of us educating ourselves. Ice Cube did do that, and I applaud him for that. But the reality is that when I see some of these guys blowing $2-3 million on stupid stuff, on nothing, or I see yay, I get frustrated. I'm not gonna lie, I get frustrated. I get it. I understand. I respect the fact that Kanye stood up and he's making his point and he's being his own man. But bro, you threw away billions of dollars. Give those billions to me and let me go educate some of these damn babies. I don't need a penny of that money. But I could literally, you give me one check for $100 million. I could literally transform the entire Black community in about a year or two. Literally. So what is really frustrating to me is that as Black people, we don't understand how much we lose when we are trained to, from birth, hand our children over to their oppressor so they can pour poison into their brain. Next thing you know, you got a classroom full of Black boys. Half of them want to be football players. The other half of them want to be rappers. Hardly any of them want to be engineers, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, plumbers, carpenters, or anything that's going to add real skill to your community. And then you wonder 10, 15 years later, when these are the young men that are supposedly leading the community, you wonder why they don't have the skill or the ability to lead. It's because you have failed. We have failed. We have all failed in the important task of educating our kids. That's the reality of it all. That's how I feel. That's what I believe. And I can't back away from that. Anyway, as I move forward, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, my website is boycewatkins.com. In the Black Business School, you know that we do our best to educate as many people as possible. And we built it. I built it with my own two hands with a bunch of Black scholars that I know. And we do a really good job. We educate you better than any university ever could. So if you'd like to know about some of the stuff we have going on, I put a link to a government contracting class that we have coming up this week. We actually have a seminar on how to become a part of this $1 trillion government contracting industry and get some of that money. Just go to boycewatkins.com. I'll put a link there. If you're on Instagram, I'll put the link the link is in the bio. I'll put that up right after we get done with class. But let me keep going. Let me keep reading down the list. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe, please, if you haven't done it. Notification bell too. Okay, so after education, the next most regretted major is marketing, management, and research. You can do things with that, but you may not be able to get a company to hire you. Next is, in terms of most regretted majors, this is interesting, medical and clinical assisting. That's very surprising. I would say maybe it's because of the student loan levels. Maybe that's the issue, student loans relative to salary. But I actually think going into the medical field, generally speaking, tends to be a good idea. So maybe that particular role isn't the best role. But I don't know a lot of nurses and stuff like that who regret it. I know a few doctors who regret going to medical school, though. Medical school is really difficult. My sister went to medical school, and I don't know how she feels about that. Next is political science and government. Yeah, that's kind of an ambiguous major. You have a lot of real skill that allows you to understand interesting things, but I don't really know if employers are dying to hire you in that area. Biology, yeah, I can see where biology will be on the list too, because biology tends to be something that pre-med majors choose. So if you don't finish and go to medical school, then your biology degree may not give you what you want. And again, we're under the assumption that you also took on debt in order to do this. If college is free, I think it changes the dynamics a little bit. And last but not least is English language and literature. That's another important topic. It's important to know English. It's important to know how to speak and write and all that stuff. But the question is, are you able to get somebody to pay you to do that? So one of the things you may want to talk to your kids about is how to take what they know how to do and translate and connect that to a marketable skill. So if, for example, if I am good at English language and literature, then I translate that over into something like, I don't know, let's say I want to be going to PR. Well, my English background helps me to write press releases and all that, right? So then I go get trained on PR and I say, hey, I'm a publicist or I can be a PR professional, right? So I think that's what it is. It's college. See, college is a funny place. You know, I hung out on a lot of college campuses and a lot of my professor friends are very smart. You know, we spend a lot of time studying what we know how to do. But one problem with college is that college is deeply disconnected from the real world. There's not been any incentive for university professors to catch up with the rest of the world. So they charge insane amounts of money for you to go to college and learn from a bunch of people who don't know anything about making money. Most college professors don't know how to make their own money. They just don't. Because they pick up their paycheck and that's what they do. And where do they get their paycheck from? They get it from your student loan. So you pay all this money to go to school. They take that money, they chop it up. They let the professors have a little bit of it. They pay millions of dollars to the football coach because the football coach is the head of the marketing wing for the school. And then at that point, you know, professors live in this cushy little world where they're not forced to have real world sacrifices for their inability to actually create something that the world actually needs and values. So what then occurs, though, unfortunately, is that sometimes professors get a little bit arrogant and a little bit elite. And I remember kind of feeling like they sort of look down on regular people or people who are not part of the academy. And so because of that, I think that leads them to educating kids in a way that doesn't prepare them for the rest of the world. So in order to fill that void out, I would encourage you to make sure your kids have a big dose of reality. When I talk to our kids, I talk to them about what it really means to make money and how making money, what you do to make money, doesn't necessarily have to be the thing that you actually love. But you want to make enough money so you can actually do the things that you love, right? So ultimately, either make your money by doing something you love or do what you don't love so that you can eventually do what you do love, and just accept the fact that the thing that you love doesn't make you any money, but you already know how to make money over here, so you're not worried about money every day. I think the worst position in the world to be in is in a position where you're so financially insecure that somebody else is constantly controlling what you do with your life on a day-to-day basis, or that you have to be in the place that's going to give you enough income in order for you to survive. That's not much different from slavery. So one of the keys to breaking out of slavery is to get out of mental slavery. Before you get out of physical slavery, you must break out of mental slavery. So breaking out of mental slavery means not just doing what you're told all the time. It means doing what the universe tells you to do. It means listening to people that can help you have ideas that are going to get you outside of that box and put you where you want to be, right? So I'm a big believer that you can learn from everybody. I think that you should go and listen to everybody's point of view. I think you should listen to people who are not Black. I think you should do everything you got to do to get all the information that you can get so that you can be in a position where you are making the moves that are going to put you where you want to get to. And let's go back to the basics. The most fundamental component of it all is you have to make sure your kids especially have a cushion of economic independence. It's very basic. Something that involves maybe a little real estate, something that involves some ownership in stock, and then something that involves a skill that allows them to go out and make their own money and create their own opportunity. If they can do those things, they become like a basketball player that can create their own shot. A player who can create their own shot. I'm going to use a basketball analogy. In basketball, you got players that can create their own shot because they know how to dribble and move around the court. And then you got players that can't create a shot. They have to be in a system that creates shots for them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Give me a yes if you follow the analogy. Players who can't create their own shot are kind of stuck. They're vulnerable to the system. If the system doesn't give them the shot, then they're never going to score any points. But the player who can create his own shot is a player who will score points even no matter what the defense does. The player who can create his own shot is a player that can score points no matter what the system gives him. He will find a way to get open so he can get the ball out, to the hoop and put the ball in the bucket. So I think our kids, Black kids especially, because you don't have a system that benefits you, you have a defense that is all over you. So because you got this defense that's trying to hold you down every step of the way, and you got a system that doesn't benefit you, the strongest, most capable Black people are the ones that know how to create their own shot. So rather than going to church and praying to white Jesus that a white man's going to come along and give you an opportunity, just give me a shot, boss. I just need you to give me a shot. Instead of doing that, how about you raise your kids to create their own shot? I think if you do that, you're going to find that they're much happier. And it ain't about how much money they make. I know a lot of people who don't make a whole lot of money who are much happier than people who are doing well, because at least they're doing what they want to do, doing it the way they're doing it, and they're living their best life, so to speak. That's what your best life looks like, in my opinion. It's when you don't have to feel that pressure that comes with economic slavery. And so that's my 2 cents, and I hope that this helps you, and I hope that this makes your life a little bit better, and that's my goal. All right, guys. So anyway, I'm almost done. So somebody, I did mention PR. Yep, I sure did. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron's holding it down. I appreciate you, Aaron, for helping deal with any misinformation, the false facts, all that fake news in the world. All right. So by the way, the All Black National Convention, a lot of you were at the convention this past year. Shout out to those of you that were there. It was a great experience. It was amazing. You guys saw how awesome it is. We are not going to increase the size of the convention next year. We have every year the demand goes up because people hear how great it is. We decided we don't want a convention with more than 500 people. So I'm going to tell you this right now. The tickets are going to sell out, and they're going to sell out several months before the convention. So if you'd like to join us in Atlanta next year, it's going to be in Atlanta. We don't have the specific venue, but we know it's going to be in Atlanta. Then you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com, and this year you can go out and lock in your tickets now at half price at the previous price. So we take the previous price, cut it in half, and you can get your tickets now. We are going to sell out because we were trying to figure out if we want to get a bigger venue and do all that stuff. We decided we like the family atmosphere. We're going to keep it at 500 people. Once we hit 500 people, that's going to be it. So, and we've already sold hundreds of tickets already for next year. So if you'd like to join us at the convention, it's well worth it. It's an amazing experience. Feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com. The URL's on the screen. All right, guys. Thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell on your way out. God bless you. I'm going to go and my wife made some delicious food for me. So I'm going to go stare at my sexy wife while we eat some delicious food. And then I think we're actually going to go see Black Panther tonight. How about that? See, y'all think, people think I hate the movie and stuff, and then I'm just going to like boycott it. I'm not going to boycott it. I'm going to go check it out. I don't hate it. I just wanted to make some points. I wanted to make some points like, look, I looked at your trailer. It seems like you're kind of eliminating all the black men in the trailer and turning this into Wonder Woman. But you know what? I actually want to see it. I want to see what it looks like, and I'll give you guys a thorough review, and I'll review it with my wife. Maybe we'll do a pillow talk about it. So have a good night, everybody. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I love you. I'll see you soon. Take care now. Peace.